Grand rising, grand rising, grand rising. I give thanks, Spirit, for putting this on me. Because you put this on me before. And how you're giving it to me now. I'm in understanding. There is power in silence. I don't know what that dripping was behind me, but there's power in silence. A lot of people don't understand how powerful silence truly is. You don't always need to be talking. But when you're silent, there's a part of you that is listening. You don't always have to be talking for your point to get across. Your point and what you need to what you need to do, who you need to portray to the outside world. Some of that, you'd be surprised how much of that is conveyed in silence. When they say first impressions mean everything, most people's first impressions are done with their eyes. That's done in silence. If something starts to bother you, you would be surprised at what happens when, for a moment, you don't say anything and you think about that. You would be surprised at how your silence to a situation can change the course of that situation. Like if you're arguing with somebody, just stop. Just stop. Stop arguing with them. Just stop. Be silent. Because nobody likes to hear themselves arguing with themselves. Because in the silence is when the thinking happens. Now, in the silence is also where you're growing. In the silence of your meditation, of your walks, of being in front of your altar, the silence of being in an argument and not saying anything, the silence of being even at work and not always speaking out on what is going on. Because sometimes in your silence, it's observation. Because sometimes when you move to speak, you're not observing, and so therefore you can be speaking in terms that aren't in relation to what you're observing, or you could be speaking on something that may not have anything to do with you. You could be speaking on something that could exasperate the situation. You could be speaking on something that doesn't have anything to do with anything. You also could not be speaking because you understand that your words are power. You also could be in silence because you are letting your eyes absorb. And you've gained this awareness in yourself so that what your eyes are absorbing, they're absorbing what's there and also the energy and vibration of what is there. So that way your silence is used to filter everything accordingly. Silence can create a sense of understanding because it can allow you to think about a situation. That silence in yourself, growing within yourself, that silence outside of work, that peace, because you don't have all that noise of everybody talking and the machines. If you're around machines, you don't have all of that. When you can't recognize and find the time where you physically have to be silent, you're not going to hear what you need to hear for that situation. You're not going to hear the little bits and jewels and nuggets that are going to help you grow in understanding. Because every time that there's a point where you have the option of being silent, like at work, for example, you may know a supervisor that, you know, they always choose certain people. They have their favorites that they choose certain people. And you know, all you keep seeing is that they're choosing certain people, and you keep saying something about it, while they keep choosing certain people. If you were silent for a moment and think about it, why are they choosing certain people? Always ask yourself, because there's a reason for everything. Why are they choosing certain people? Do these people have something in common? Like at work, in your silence, when you're looking around and you see a certain supervisor choosing certain people, are these people the type of people to get stuff done without procrastination? That's why they're choosing these certain people for certain tasks. See, if you're silent, you can observe that before you say anything, so you know what to say, or if you need to say anything at all. Or in your silence and observation, they're choosing these people because they're their buddies. Damn the job performance, they're their buddies, and that's you know what they're doing for their buddies. Then you know where to go from there. Then you know what to say, because you moved in silence first and observed and was aware that everything may not be what it seems, because that's something that silence affords you. Certain situations, silence can afford you to look at a situation and be like, well, is it this? Is it what I'm thinking that it is? Or could there be more? Because in silence, that gives you a chance to ask yourself, if you were in this situation, would you act the same way? Would you do the same thing? Because a lot of people say, well, I wouldn't do that if that were me. When sometimes you hadn't even thought about if you really truly had to be in that situation under those circumstances. Silence allows you to look at things how you wouldn't normally look at things, or to look at things deeper than what they are, so that way you know where to go from there. Silence in an argument diffuses the argument. It may not diffuse how you feel, but it stops the argument, so that way now there's silence and you have to think about what is said. And if there's real growth in anything, you're going to think about not only what you said, but what the other person has said. And if you have said something to the other person that you want them to say to you. We realize the things that we've done in the moments of silence that happen in our lives. It doesn't always take someone to tell us we were mean to somebody to know that we were mean to somebody. You're going to have to pardon me. I was sneezing a whole bunch earlier today. Everything doesn't always require your opinion to be voiced out loud. Everything that you see doesn't require for you to say something about it. Some things you're just supposed to observe in silence. There are some things that you're supposed to be doing in silence. Your growth, building yourself, you do that in silence. Everyone doesn't need to know your business. Like I said before, you don't always have to have the last word. You just have to make sure that the last word that you say meant something. There's power in being able to be quiet and being able to restrain yourself from saying what you really want to say. Especially if you know it's something that's going to hurt somebody. There's power in your words. If you say something just to be hurting somebody, you have to be ready for those consequences. You could have just been silent. Don't be mad if you say something that hurts somebody and then they don't want to talk to you, or their feelings change towards you, or they're acting funny towards you for a little while. You can't be mad at that because you couldn't execute silence for a moment to not say that. It comes in many different forms and many different ways. Growth in silence. Execute silence so you're not saying things that are without meaning. Because some people say things just to hear themselves talk, because they like to hear themselves talk. You don't always need to be talking to be heard. Be who you are, but exercise principles as you see fit when they come across in your lives. Because there's always going to be times of change and choices and periods where we are learning and experiencing different things. How you move in those things, the things that you are doing, it's your growth is determined from this. If you can understand the importance of silence, you get a better understanding and you get rewarded. You don't just want to be silent because you don't want to hear what other people have to say if you open your mouth. That's not it. You are to be silent so you can gain an understanding of what's going on around you, so you know how to respond, if to respond to what's going on around you. You don't always need to tell people who you are for who you are to be understood. Your actions speak for you. Your body language speaks for you. How you carry yourself speaks for you. The courteousness, that how you act towards other people speaks for you. You don't always have to tell people who you are with your words. And when you do, you need to make sure that in the silence, your actions are mimicking the words that you have said you are. I understand that we all falter, but you can't say that you're a certain kind of person and then your actions be totally different than that. You can't say that you listen well, and then every time someone goes to talk to you, they can't even talk because you're talking all the time. You can't say that you're listening if the little bit that you hear them say, a pause in the action, you're wanting to talk so you can say what you want to say. You didn't hear what they had to say. You were waiting to talk. You weren't waiting for your silence so you could listen. You have to learn how to silence yourself, because there's a lot of noise that we tell ourselves that it's so loud. You have to learn how to silence that. And you have to ask yourself, why are you telling yourself these things? That it's so loud. If you can't control something, don't let it be so loud, man. Don't let it be so loud. You can't control other people's thoughts or feelings. What you can control are your own thoughts and feelings and how you move in that. Silence is powerful. Silence will say things that they will say things, the silence will say things in such a powerful way that words can't even begin to give magnitude to. There's power in silence. There's strength in silence. Spirit said that's it. So that's it. I hope you guys stay blessed, stay highly favored. I appreciate you subscribing, following. I'm going to go and blow my nose because I've been sneezing like all get out. And y'all be easy. Peace.